Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another Entrepreneur Truth Talk. I'm Lisa Avila, business strategist and coach for moms. And today I have Chelsea Bailey, and she is a certified mindset coach for moms. So this is the perfect episode for you to watch. Welcome, Chelsea.
I'm so happy to be here. I'm so excited. When we just kind of fell into each other's world, I was like, oh my gosh, this is perfect. And
We
yeah,
did.
I'm excited to be here.
So Chelsea and I are in a mastermind together, and it is so fun to be able to bounce ideas off of each other as moms. And so I wanted to bring you on here today to talk about how you help moms.
Yes. So I really help moms through any season of motherhood. Like I work with moms that are just brand new to being a mom, and also moms that have like older kids and are just trying to like figure out who they are again. I feel like the transition of becoming a mom and just learning about what that means is ongoing. And so moms of any season of motherhood could absolutely 100% use support, because in any stage of motherhood that we're in, we're struggling with a society that is failing moms, and especially working moms these days with everything that we have on our plates and all the expectations and not enough support. We're dealing with social media and comparison, and just our anxiety is through the roof, and there's just not enough support out there for moms. So I think whenever I became a mom, of all the work that I did before that, like positive mindset, all this stuff, I still struggled massively. And I struggled with, I won't go too much into detail, but I struggled with high functioning anxiety, depression. And I just, more than anything, my identity was just shaken. I was like, what do I do now with my life? Who am I? What am I passionate about? What am I excited about? Because my life felt dull. And it was hard because it was like, I should be so happy right now because I've got my beautiful daughter. We just got a new house. It was like all these things were lining up for me that society says that I should be happy about. And I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy. I was so sad. And I was just like stuck, and like just life was dull, and I was like aimless, and I was getting lost in just the role of being a mom and trying to figure out who I was, but it wasn't coming. And then fast forward, I'm like, I wanted to coach. So I was like, well, let me go into this world a little deeper. And I recognize and realize that it is totally surrounded by the way that our nervous system, like our body it is handling just the overstimulation. Like a lot of it is funny. It's funny because I'm like, a lot of motherhood just brings the things that we're already struggling with to the surface that we didn't realize that we were struggling with. And so I see it as an opportunity of like, it's an awakening to like really go inward and do like all the healing and just really do the inner work that's going to help you become like the person that you are meant to be and that you always wanted to be. Like, I feel like I'm a better version of myself now than I was even before her, but it just brought everything to the surface that I needed to work on that I was avoiding. And so I think a huge piece is just us learning to recognize that when we get triggered, when we get like emotionally unstable and we just feel like we're this angry mom, or we just feel like, oh, why do I have to be the bad guy and my partner gets to be the good guy? It's like, no, like the reason that that's happening is because a lot of what we're dealing with, like the overstimulation, our needs are not getting met. Our nervous system feels constantly in fight or flight. Like we are constantly in a threat, always on alert. We can't feel like ourselves because we're so disconnected. And so I think that's a huge, huge piece that's missing from even like talk therapy and just society. We're not teaching moms like, you're disconnected because you're not paying attention to your body and to your nervous system and to what your emotions are saying, and even like your inner child, and like learning that there's just younger versions of you that are speaking up now and we can't ignore them anymore. So long version, but yeah. Yeah.
No, I'm like, I'm just going to throw out an amen.
I'm passionate about it, obviously. So.
Yeah, which makes for a great coach and mentor and someone who can support you 1,000%. And you've been through it and you understand. And I wish I would have met you 15 years ago, right? Because I was that mom. I was that mom with 3 kids completely falling apart. Yeah. Three kids
Yeah.
under 4 or 5. I don't even know.
Yeah.
There was so many, and I was miserable, and I had checked all the boxes, like you said, right?
Mm-hmm.
The marriage, the kids, the house. And it's like, why am I not happy?
Mm-hmm.
Why am I so sad and going, where's Lisa in all of this?
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh.
So I
Yeah.
love that you are able to help moms bring them back to themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gosh.
One
That's
of my
so
favorite
wonderful.
quotes is, you were somebody before you were a mom, and she still matters. And I feel like that's what we get so lost in, and like, so, I don't know, so busy by, is like listening to all the parenting podcasts, listening to all the parenting, like, speakers out there, books, like doing all the things on focusing on being a good parent and how to be a good parent. But a lot of being a good parent is learning to emotionally regulate yourself and be able to learn about you and how you move through mistakes so that you can teach your kids how to move through mistakes. And so much of what our kids are learning is through modeling, like watching us do it. So if our kids are watching us struggle and not knowing how to move through our mistakes and also feeling guilty and shameful for our mistakes, what are they going to learn? Like, I feel like that was something that it wasn't even at the forefront of my mind when I was focusing on my own, like, healing journey. But as I started to see how impactful it was in my life, I was like, holy moly, I'm an awesome mom. Like, I was like, I'm a great mom. Like, I am, like, my daughter, like, will breathe with me because I do breath work, and it's a huge part of what I do. She's 2, and she'll be like, and the other day she did it a few times, and she was like, I feel better. And I was like, oh my God, like, that's what this is doing, like, right there.
Yeah.
It's
and she'll
beautiful.
carry that forward with her. That
Yeah.
will become her normal.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? To breathe through it instead of, I don't know, throwing things or.
Yeah, to feel our emotions and know that, like, how did I just go to 100? Like, how do I go from 0 to 100? Let's, like, figure out how we even got to 100 so we don't go to 100, because that's where the missing piece is.
And to give ourselves grace. It was actually a spiritual advisor who told me that years ago when I was a single mom going through grad school. And she said, Lisa, can you just give yourself some grace? Right?
Yeah.
It's like, that's what my spirit guides were saying. And we won't get too woo-woo on here, even though I know you're into it.
I know. I love it.
But once I started to give myself some grace, and I was modeling that for my boys, which that's a whole other episode, right? Of like boys feeling and showing their emotions.
Yes.
And now that they're older, I can say for the most part, they are able to give themselves some grace and sometimes walk away from a situation where, in the past they would have picked up a Lego and thrown it. Yeah. But now it's like, okay, now I can just give myself some grace.
And feel it. Yeah. Because I think that's what I tell people all the time is, like, we're holding ourselves to the standard of, like, doing it the right way. But have we ever questioned, like, what's the right way? Like, there's no manual. There's literally no manual. Even the parenting experts that we're learning from didn't have a manual. Like, they're taking, off of their own learning, which is great, but, like, we're always learning. Like, imagine where we'll be 5 years from now and what we've learned then. So it's like, there's no manual. The right way to parent is the way that feels good to you. Like, the end.
Follow your intuition.
Yeah.
And find people who can support you.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. I could go on a whole tangent on that one because, like, gosh, if there's ever, not that you're asking me this, but I'm going to say it, like, if there's ever one thing that I can tell mothers, and honestly just human beings, but mothers more than anything, the women that I see that stay stuck and don't grow, or like continue to feel disconnected and wonder why they're like that, is because they're not asking for help or taking the time to just stop and reflect, because I'm too busy. I can't tell you how many times, when I offer support, sometimes people are like, oh yes, I really need this. And then I'm like, let's talk about it. And then it's like, oh, I'm so busy. I'm too busy. Like, I'll get back to you when my schedule's not so busy. And I'm like, that time will never come. Like, you've got to make time, period. And I say that with all the, like, love in my heart. Like, you have got to just make time. There's never going to be a right time, which I know we've heard that. But, like, in motherhood, you just think it's like you're juggling all the balls, and if you miss one, you feel like they're gonna all drop. But like, you have to just stop for a second and like get out of autopilot, get out of like just doing, because that's what's keeping you stuck. So if you want to get unstuck, you have to just stop and like ask for help, but like even to just sit for a second and be like, what am I doing and why am I doing it? Because maybe there's something that you're doing that you don't even have to be doing that's just stealing your energy. And like, does that
Or you
even
could
make
delegate.
sense for you? Like, are you questioning? Yeah, delegate. Like, ask for help from your partner. Oh my gosh. Like, we just think, we just think like we can't ask for help. We just have such a hard time asking for help because we feel like we're a burden if we ask for help. And that is so not true. That is so not true. Like, protect your energy more than anything. And if someone says no, okay, so what? That doesn't mean anything about you. Ask somebody else. Ask somebody else. Or, that's honestly like a boundary. And that's one thing that I work on with people is like, you not asking for help, you are neglecting your own inner boundaries.
Yeah.
You're neglecting your own inner boundaries because you're making yourself do all of it and not holding a boundary to be like, I'm not doing all of it. I'm going to ask my partner for help. I am a working mom now, so this is not even, and it's okay to say that. Like,
yes,
men have to step up, but the only way that they're going to step up is if we speak up for ourselves and like feel confident enough to like do that and know that we can't control their reaction, but how are we going to know if we don't like speak up for ourselves and just be like, I can't handle this anymore, and
help me.
Yeah, because most of the time, most moms that I coach and that I talk to, most of the time when they finally do ask for help and they finally do mention how they're feeling to their partner is like, oh my gosh, well, why didn't you say something? Like, I didn't know. Like, why didn't you say something before? Like, and it's always like, I bet that you didn't expect that answer. You were expecting the worst answer possible. And now look, like your partner was so supportive. Like, we just have to be willing to ask for help, and that would take so much off of our plate in general. But yeah,
for sure. Even in business coaching, right? I mean, we cover life because as a mom, you're constantly in and out of both.
Yeah.
And I talk a lot about the mental load of it all.
Oh my
and
gosh,
how we don't even realize how much we take on, be it planning appointments, packing their lunches, just all of the things that we
constant.
moms take on. Yeah, it's constant. It's huge. And we make it work until we fall apart. And so that mental load, if you can release some of that, delegate it, ask for help, then you actually you have more time.
Yeah.
For yourself or for your business or to go whatever.
Yeah, 100%.
Go to yoga.
Yeah. And that's what I had to learn the hard way that I feel like most moms are getting caught up in is like finding the right schedule, finding the right routine, planning it all out right. But that does not last. It didn't last for me. And it's just, again, an external answer when we need to be looking inward, because I found through my own work with like healing and rewiring my nervous system, healing and rewiring like my beliefs, but just like mostly my nervous system essentially is like a lot of that mental load and that chaos in my mind. I mean, dare I say, it's not really there anymore. Like, I don't feel that. I don't feel the weight of the mental load. I'm very grounded in everything that I do. And I'm a mom of a 2-year-old and I'm working 2 jobs. Like, I'm a coach and I have another job. And also I'll tell people I'm stacked from the day I wake up to the end of the day. Like, I'm stacked. I don't say busy because I feel like it's a negative connotation to that, but I'm stacked and I don't feel burnt out. I don't feel overwhelmed. I don't feel anxious. I don't feel stressed. I don't feel like I'm ignoring myself. I don't feel like I'm doing too much. So
that's
like,
amazing.
That's it. You know what I mean? It's not like we got to quit our job or we can't do it's, we think we're always looking outside of ourselves. Like, I can't, like, we just think we got to eliminate from our schedule, or we have to wait until the kids get older, or we gotta, this is just a season, which yes, like there are seasons, but like every season's going to be hard. So like, quit telling yourself it's just the season or I got to find the perfect schedule, because if you can teach your nervous system to be able to handle and manage the stress that you're facing in your life, it's not going to see it as stress anymore. Like, that's the biggest thing of all, is like just expanding. The scientific word is like window of tolerance. Like right now, our window of tolerance is like this big because it wasn't meant to handle all the stress that's coming at us. But if we teach us, hey, this stress isn't life threatening, like I'm okay, I'm like, I got it, then our window of tolerance is going to expand, and we'll be able to get through difficult situations in a more logical, grounded, strong, confident decision-making place, instead of feeling so like sporadic and like all over the place and like just chaotic in our life. So
yes,
yeah.
thank you for bringing that up. I appreciate that you say, when people say, well, I'm just going to wait until the kids are older. I'm just going to wait until they're out of the house.
Yeah.
And what I think of is you're still taking that suitcase of all of your stuff with you. It doesn't matter that it's a new season, a new year, a new school year. Your kids are off at college.
Analogy. Yeah.
It's true. Like, you have to unpack that suitcase.
It behind you. Like, you're just carrying it with you.
And believe me, it is overweight at this point.
Yep. Then you're just adding and it's exploding.
It's exploding. Yeah. And so many of my friends now, their kids are going off to college, and it's like, well, now what do I do with myself?
Oof,
yes. Right. Yes. So let's think about that when you've got toddlers, although that is a whole nother stage in itself. But yeah, really digging into you and the inner. So I love that you say that. It's so important.
Yeah. But I feel like I tried to do that. I was like, ooh, I got to find the right schedule. I bought a planner. I had all the good intentions, and it was like, this is not, I still feel like my mind is racing. I still feel anxious. Like that was, I struggle with anxiety massively. I still feel anxious. This is not helping. And I always tell people, like, because I did that balance workshop, and I tell people, like, finding balance isn't about like the perfect routine or the perfect schedule. Like, balance is a feeling. Balance is like something that's created within your body. And if you can have a busy schedule, but if you're intentional and present with everything that you do in your day, then you can bet you're going to feel balanced,
Yes.
So
nice. Yeah. So what made you decide to start your own business and become a coach? Like, I know that you wanted to help people, but taking that on and becoming a mompreneur is a big deal.
Yeah. I think I just have this passion for just helping people. So when I first got the idea to become a coach, actually was before I even had my daughter. And so that's when I started getting a lot of my certifications. And then, COVID hit, of course. And, so we moved back, and I kind of got in this like scarcity mindset of like, oof, well, I got to work to like make money and pay the bills. And like, we do want to have a family. So I need to find a steady job and like you said, hit all the right buttons and check off all the boxes before we have a baby. And I just found myself depressed, and like my depression, honestly, it started before I had my daughter, but again, it didn't show its rearing head until motherhood came. So yeah, I think I had always wanted to be a coach, but then I went through all of my own healing journey whenever I had my daughter. And the moment that I started to see and feel how beautiful and wonderful this experience gave me, and how good I feel as a busy mom of a toddler, for crying out loud, I'm like, this is possible. We're what's the word I'm trying to come? We're almost making it like normal that moms are gonna struggle. We're normalizing motherhood anxiety. We're normalizing depression. We're normalizing motherhood being hard. We're normalizing, oh, well, you're not going to have any more time for yourself. Get ready. Like, we're normalizing that, and we need to stop. You can absolutely be the calm, grounded, confident mother you want to be. Is my motherhood still challenging? Absolutely. Yes. But now I have the tools to be able to move through those challenges from a more confident place, instead of letting it just tear my whole life down, So I think once I realized, oh my gosh, how do more moms not know about this? We're normalizing that motherhood is terrible. We're going to lose our life. We can't go for our goals and our dreams anymore. And I think that was the biggest thing, is I was always a very ambitious driven person. I loved goals. I loved achieving. Like, I have goal. Obviously I've got goals now, and it's like, I feel like the number one driver for us being stuck as moms is we are we're forgetting that. We're forgetting that we have gifts and we have a purpose. We have gifts and like stuff to share with the world. And when we're disconnected from that, from our purpose and our passions, of course we're going to feel disconnected because we're only serving our children, which is great. But like, you've got to like, you were born with a gift, like kind of like that saying when I was like, you were born with a gift. You weren't just born to be a mom. Like, yes, you can be a wonderful, great mom and love being a mom, but you were also born to serve in a different way and to show up in the world differently too. So when we're disconnected from that, no wonder our life feels dull and we don't feel excited about something because we're not focusing on it. We've lost sight of it.
Not living out our purpose.
Yeah. So I think once I started to like fall into that, I was like, this is what every mom needs to know. And at first I was like, I just want to coach everyone. I want to help everyone. And I coached some teenage girls actually for like the very first start of my coaching world. And then my intuition just kept being like, you need to share this with moms. You need to share this with moms. And I went with it and it just all aligned and I love it. I feel like it's still so nuanced. I feel like moms are still struggling and honestly, my mission is to change that. And hopefully other coaches will follow along too. But yeah. And then also like, just to say like from a business standpoint to like support like you clients and all the things is like, we can, cause I have a client that I'm talking to about this now, but like the reason why we're procrastinating and like not showing up for ourselves and maybe even like you've got like business leaders in your environment right now that are following you that are like, oh, I want to write that book or I want to do that thing, but I just can't bring myself to do it. Why can't I bring myself to do it? And you feel guilty because if you're not with your kids 24/7, you're not a good mom. But like at the end of the day, we have to show our nervous system, our body that what we want is safe. So if we are constantly feeling like, oof, I'm going to be too busy if I get successful at that. I'm going to be too busy the busier I get in my business, well, then we're subconsciously going to hold ourselves back because we're afraid that it's going to get too busy. So that's where also like from a working mom standpoint to grow in your business, it's so incredibly crucial to focus on bringing safety back to your nervous system and your body to show it that like, hey, my dreams are possible for me. They will be safe. I will be able to do that, be a successful business owner and a mom at the same time, 100%. But until we show it that it's possible, it's always going to reject it. It's going to reject it. You're going to keep procrastinating and holding out because you're afraid of what that will look like with motherhood.
Yep. Great point. That's why I talk to my inner child. She's 16, the one I talk to, and tell her like, I've got this.
Yeah.
You know, I've got you. It's going to be fine. Because you want to be safe. I mean, that's what every human and animal and everybody, that's what, number one, you want to feel safe.
Yeah.
And so I think it's really important to remind ourselves that we can be safe and take care of ourselves, take care of our kids, be successful, do the things that matter.
It's possible to do all the things.
It's
possible to do all the things.
And also, it's so important to show our children that.
Yes. Oh my gosh, yes.
You know, I think about that a lot I just want my boys I want them to want to be with a woman who is ambitious and passionate and following her dream and not, you know, being like, well, what do you want to do? And it's like, no, this is what I want to do.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, 100%. Or feeling like, oh, well, she's just going to take care of the kids and cook dinners and stuff. And it's like, no. And if that's you, that's fine. If you feel like that's your thing, but I can pretty much guarantee you're still going to feel a little lost sometimes. And that's because you're not focusing on your own gifts and your own purpose.
Absolutely. So in part of your mompreneur journey that you've been on, has there been kind of any struggles or things that you've gone, oh, shoot, why did I do that? Or I wish I wouldn't have done it that way.
Yeah. Of course, right. We all mess up. We all struggle. I think the biggest thing that has kind of kept me from finding success sooner, well, I guess two things. One thing is deciding on who I'm going to serve, deciding my niche, deciding the intentions of my business, not saying like, oh, I'm gonna just serve everybody. Like really getting clear, like super, super, super clear on who your ideal client is, what they want, what that looks like, what they need. And because I was so stuck that I was so afraid that if I honed in on a clear client or a clear niche or whatever, that I wouldn't get clients. I was so afraid that it would just limit me, but it actually expanded me. Like it actually like allowed me to really talk to those people that needed to find me so much more intentionally. So that was one that kept me held back for a long time. So even if you're not in like a niche type business, like just making decisions, you just got to make a decision and roll with it. And if you feel like that's not the right decision for your long-term business, it doesn't matter. You'll learn through making decisions what eventually is where you need to go. Like there's no wrong decision, honestly. Like if you mess up and you feel like you made the wrong decision, like, well, at least you learned and you tried, and then next time you'll be able to make a more aligned decision. So I think just having the boss CEO identity of like, just make a decision, experiment with it. It's not the end all be all. That was where I got so wrapped up in. It's not the end all be all. Just experiment, make a decision so you can be all in on it and do it at your best and see if it works or if it doesn't. But I think the other thing too was not recognizing how important, and again, I'm going to go back to like the inner work and the identity, but not realizing how important my own identity around success and actually owning that I'm a badass entrepreneur, that I'm an owner, that this is my business and that I need to run it the way that I want to run it, and treating it like a side hustle. I think that was the biggest like aha moment, light bulb that like smacked me in the face. It was like, if you're not seeing success right now or whatever, it was like, it's probably because you're thinking of your business as a side hustle and not your main gig. And I was like, woof, yeah, I'm definitely just fearful and just skating along, treating it like a side business. And so once I started to do more of the identity work and like seeing, and again, like inner healing, like getting rid of learning how to move through my fears and not let them make decisions for me and not let them hold me back, and really just own the person that I want to be as the entrepreneur in my business, and just really fully step into her. That's what gave me the confidence to be able to do all the other things. So I think not paying attention to that, like focusing so much on the strategy, like too much on the strategy and like, am I doing this right? And not focusing on, well, where's my mindset though around this? Once I do this, do I have the mindset to be able to hold these clients and coach them confidently? So I feel like that's a huge, huge piece that people miss, is like stepping into the identity that is going to be able to hold the success of their business.
Yeah. Woo! And when we've been taking care of everyone else for so long, it's kind of hard to step into the spotlight.
Yeah.
Or to say like, look at me. Yeah. I work on that with clients also, that visibility piece, especially if they're going to be on social media, of like, no, it's really okay to step into the spotlight. You actually have a lot to share.
Yeah. And separating that, like, because as a mom, you're wearing sweats and you're like no makeup, your hair's in a messy bun, and then you're like, okay, well now I gotta like make myself present. It's like, but like you do, but it's okay. That doesn't mean that just because you're messy mom bun like self, that doesn't mean that you're that all the time. Like we all have lives outside of our business. That doesn't mean that, that we can't still show up as this boss, like badass version of ourselves. We don't need the perfect office. We don't need the perfect, like, I don't know. We don't need the perfect strategy. We just need to like show up with the confidence to be able to make the right decisions and to know that as challenges come, we can move through them and like learn from them.
Yeah. And we can do it with a messy bun or no makeup. It doesn't matter.
Exactly.
We are who we are.
Yeah. And I will say, like, that's why, again, like what healing brought me, and I didn't even realize it. When I started my coaching business, that was and so this was like, what year is it? 2022. I think, yeah, the fall of 2022. So I'm just still new at this, extremely new. And that was the first time that I like did a reel. And so reels weren't new in 2022, that people have been doing reels. I just was so afraid to show myself and like speak my truth. And the moment I started doing more of the inner work and really just healing like all of my fears and all of my subconscious blocks around all that stuff, I was able to just now like my face is all over my Instagram. I'd be like, who is this girl? I wouldn't even recognize myself 2 years ago because my face would never be on there.
Yeah.
And it's wild. It's wild. So.
No, it's great. So speaking of Instagram, where can people find out about your offers and how you help? Is it Instagram? Is that the best place?
Yeah, Instagram is the best place. So it's at Chelsea Bailey Coaching. And I'm always moving through different programs and all the things on there. So that's where I post most of my updates and stuff. But yeah, right now I've got one more spot in my private coaching, which is amazing. But I'm getting ready to launch my little like mini group soon. So if you follow me on there, you'll see that soon, shortly. And so it'll be just like a 6-week thing where we're going to do exactly what I'm talking about. Like really going into the foundation of how our nervous system even impacts us in life, motherhood, business, like according to you and your goals and the things that you want to achieve, to be able to like heal and move through those fears and those subconscious blocks. And we'll also just help you like manage stress so much more confidently and heal anxiety. It's really just going to be a really big, beautiful chance to fast track like understanding, like doing healing though. Like we'll be doing breath work and actual healing in it, but also just really creating the understanding of like, we hear so many different like cognitive based strategies, and a lot of people do talk therapy, and that's great, but then they come to me and they're like, but this has only gone so far. I feel like I've plateaued. I feel like I'm just talking and nothing's happening. It's because we're ignoring our body. So learning to like really be able to, what's the word I'm trying to say? Be able to listen to our emotions and hear what they're trying to tell us. Like, and just being able to really hear again what our fears, like where is that coming from? What's my fear saying? Like just being able to really be attuned with your body and heal some of the blocks so that you can start to take those steps forward. And even like removing procrastination, like that'll be a big one, like removing procrastination, getting really clear about what you want and just going all in on it, and stop letting yourself hold you back from being a good mom, from being a good woman, from having that excitement and fulfillment in your life that you're craving. So yeah.
Okay, moms. So how badass is all of that?
I'm excited. It's going to be great.
Yeah, that sounds great. So everyone go follow Chelsea on Instagram, learn more about her program. And thank you for joining me today. It's always such a pleasure. I love your energy. I love that you're also helping moms. So yes, let's keep going.
I love it. You're doing amazing too. Go work with my gal because she's so cool and she's the best.
Oh, thank you. All right, everyone, join me next time for another Entrepreneur Truth Talk. Bye-bye.